What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and I hope that I hope you have some ice cream in your future. How about that? I know I talk about food a lot, but I hope you have some ice cream or some sort of frozen treat. Summertime. I hope it's a popsicle, ice cream, whatever ice cream, cake. I don't know what you're doing, but either way, I hope it's delicious for you. Welcome to the latest installment of our Blog on the Boys training camp preview series, where we are discussing, as I check my caller, every single position group on the Dallas Cowboys in the lead up to training camp beginning later this month out in Oxnard, California. We're getting closer and closer and closer and closer. So today we will be finishing our discussion on the defensive side of the ball with the safety position. But I do want to let you know, as I have been doing every single episode for a little while now, when I'm recording this, because it's the world we live in. Sometimes things happen, sometimes things pop up, sometimes news breaks, whatever the case may be. This video is probably not going out until later next week for me. Obviously, it's going out today for you, whenever that winds up being. But either way, for me, today is Thursday, July the 6th. I've been knocking out a few of these videos on this particular day. If you've been watching all of the videos in our training camp preview series, and if you haven't, what the heck? But if you have, thank you so much. Please subscribe here to the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Today, once again, Thursday, July the 6th, 2023. It is just about 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for me. Today, we are talking about the safeties on the Dallas Cowboys. And lo and behold, this is a fun position to talk about. And yes, on the Dallas Cowboys, that has not been the case for a very, 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 very long time. In fact, I will just go ahead and say right now, this is the best Cowboys safety group in a very long time. I don't even know. I talked about the corners in 2013-ish. I don't know the last time I felt this good about the Cowboys safeties, maybe circa 2008-ish, if I really had to stretch back, when you're talking about Roy Williams and Ken Hamlin, and that's just the top of things. But Donovan Wilson, who the Cowboys were able to bring back, obviously, in free agency, that was a big deal. Malik Hooker, who has really surprised us all, really kind of refound the form that led to him being a first-round draft pick. Jaron Kearse, who was such a revelation in 2021. I was wrong. I thought there was no way that he would be just as good in 2022. Thankfully, Jaron Kearse is amazing. I was wrong. He was right. The Cowboys were right. Good for them. Good for him. Bad for me. Israel Mukuamu, I mentioned in the cornerback video that we were going to put Izzy here, but he is kind of a little bit of a hybrid nonetheless. Tyler Coyle, obviously, another name that is worth being somewhat excited about. Marquise Bell, the UDFA last year, we all had a lot of high hopes for. Wanye Thomas and Sheldrick Redwine, not really factors in this consideration if we're being completely and totally honest. But here's the thing. The Cowboys have been, I don't want to say pioneers or trailblazers, but Dan Quinn has really kind of defined how to do this safety, linebacker hybrid sort of position. That's what Jaron Kearse has done so well. And we've seen, 2021 was kind of the year of Jaron Kearse, obviously. 2022 was kind of the year of Donovan Wilson. And each of them got a brand new deal with the Cowboys following that particular year. I'm not saying that means this year is the year of Malik Hooker, but the Cowboys have bodies. The Cowboys have players who can run, who can hit, who can thump, who can do every single thing that you ask of NFL safeties. And that is something that, again, when have you been able to say that out loud about this specific team? This is one of the strongest position groups on the Dallas Cowboys, and there really are no questions, right? Like, we kind of understand that it's Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker kind of patrolling things around, and that Jaron is that hybrid player that we talked about. Now, we don't have DeMarvion Overshown here, but we have talked about him, obviously, as his future unfolds, his career with the Cowboys, maybe inheriting that role, maybe becoming that guy. He has the body type to do that, playing some safety, obviously, in the past, but we're talking about who the safeties are in the here and now. And even then, Overshown's probably not factoring into that calculus too much in 2023. This is great. And the fact that Marquise Bell couldn't really crack into the lineup last year really kind of says a lot about how stable and how trustworthy and how legitimate the top of things are for the Cowboys. Even Izzy Mukuamu, right? When the Cowboys drafted him 2 years ago, we thought, man, he has all this athletic range. He's going to find a way. Remember last year, he had during the team's co-practice with the LA Chargers, he had the pick off of Justin Herbert, and we were all sorts of excited, and we thought, here it comes. And Izzy did have a great year, at least a great end of the year, but that didn't really start again until he started to play a little bit more corner. So that is what has been so interesting, if I'm being honest with you, is the kind of breath of fresh air that the Cowboys and Dan Quinn and their players have provided, that they don't have this real conventional safety, right? I mentioned Roy Williams. They don't have that just downhill runner, just blast you after you get past the line of scrimmage guy. And I'm not saying they're not capable of doing that. The hardest hits on this team are delivered by Donovan Wilson, the name at the very top of that list. And that's why being able to bring him back, being able to have him kind of serve as this enforcer, policing presence on the back end of your defense is something that really nobody else can do the way that Dono does it. So this is, name the group, name the position group outside of maybe the defensive line that you feel as comfortable as you do with the safeties. Again, we on a trust level, right? On a 0 to 10, maybe 1 to 10 trust level, with 10 being the most you trust things, 1 being the least. Donovan Wilson is at a 10 for us, right? Malik Hooker, maybe a 9. Jaron Kearse is certainly at a 10. This part of the Cowboys, not just defense, but their team, this is one of their strengths. And that's why the Cowboys have been able to develop, and have so much success on the defensive side of the ball over the course of the last 2 years. A lot of the credit obviously belongs to Dan Quinn, and a lot of the credit specifically because Dan Quinn has really developed this based off of what he has done in the past. We've seen obviously the Legion of Boom era in Seattle, and think about the fact that Dan Quinn kind of showed us, kind of tipped his hand a little bit with what he was wanting to do here early on in his time. Remember Keanu Neal when he brought him in to kind of do both things, et cetera, et cetera. That never really worked out, but he's got the bodies to finally make this happen in an overall picture in the overall landscape. And so the safeties on the Dallas Cowboys, there's not really much else to say. There are no questions to answer, right? Like maybe the question, if you're really looking for something, if you're really wondering how things are going to pan out, I would say there are 3. There are 3 questions as we head into training camp. 1, what will Israel Mukuamu's usage look like? And maybe this is a conversation for cornerbacks, but and some of this boils down to roster management and the math of rosters. Will the Cowboys go long at corner, not counting Izzy, and therefore kind of count him as a safety, right? Like how will they manage that? How much corner will he play? You've also got Tyler Coyle. Will he find a way to kind of make a name for himself? Marquise Bell in that mix as well. But the other question, besides, whether Coyle and Bell can kind of find their way in because it is a crowded room, the other question, and I know we've talked about Kelvin Joseph in different ways and playing some nickel and doing special teams and things like that. If the Cowboys do have to find some work for him at the safety position, is Kelvin Joseph factored into this? Do we believe in that in any way, shape, or form? I don't know. But those are the fact that we're having to kind of stretch to ask some questions about the Dallas Cowboys safety room is such a testament to the great and solid place that it is in here in 2023. We talk about this a lot, that we would put the Cowboys cornerback room up there with the very best of the NFL. You see graphics all the time. Oh, where do you rank the Cowboys cornerback tandem or duo or whatever? Name me the safety room in the NFL that you would take over the starting safeties on this team and getting Jaron on the field. Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, Jaron Kearse, they are among the absolute very best in the NFL when you're ranking safeties, safety position groups, safety rooms. I don't care who you think is better. You're probably wrong because the Dallas Cowboys are among the very, very, very best. And that concludes, obviously, our defensive discussion when it comes to our Blog on the Boys training camp preview series. Like I said, we've been kind of going position by position, working out, figuring out what we like, questions we have, and in the process, figuring out questions that we don't have, kind of like here with the safety position, right? Like we don't really have a question because things are so solid. What a huge problem. First world problems when it comes to your NFL team. So if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing right here to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. We obviously have done all these videos and we have no plans or intentions of stopping. Training camp's going to be here before you know it. We'll have lots of updates, lots of videos. We'll continue with our live shows, our podcasts, things like that. Make sure you do also subscribe to the Blog on the Boys podcast network wherever you access your podcast. And of course, make sure you check out blogontheboys.com for the latest and greatest in the world of the Dallas Cowboys. My name, if you're curious, if you don't know it by now, I don't know how that would be possible, but it is RJ Ochoa. You can follow me on Twitter, if that still exists a week and a half from now, at RJ Ochoa, on Instagram at RJ Ochoa, and now on Threads, yes, at RJ Ochoa, but some jerk took that on TikTok, so if you want to follow me there, you have to do the period, RJ.Ochoa. You also have to do that if you want to send me an email, which you can do as well. RJ.Ochoa@sbnation.com is how you do that, or you can leave a comment down below and ask a question, say whatever you want, and we'll do our best to get to those as well. For now, in real time, I'm heading to California. In your time, I am probably headed back. I really don't know at this point in time. What is time anyway? Time is a figment of our imagination. So it's exciting to kind of go through all these and realize that we feel really good about the Cowboys roster in a number of different ways. So let's hope that translates. Let's hope that exact hope translates over into this season, and that it is one worth talking about. So I hope you eat another cold treat, like I said, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you do all the good things. Yeah, that's it. Let's just get out of here. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. Means a lot, and we'll see you next time.